I don't want to talk.
Breaking Beige is the journey of three 30-something mums trying to figure out who the hell they are post-babies. We can't be the only ones who feel like this. Who the fuck are we now? Just a mamas wearing thin. We want more. Finding our strengths, ditching the activewear and washing our hair. This is the journey of how we will gain our self-worth back and inspire you to do the same. Break the beige. Be a hot bitch.
I don't want to talk.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Sammy.
Right, morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. Kate, you look different.
I just said to her, I was like, I haven't seen you outside of your activewear. It's so cute right now.
Half and half.
So we today is a special guest. We've got Caity on today. She is a friend and a trainer. So, like friend and foe in a way. Kate has naturally set out of this one today, only because we've got some sick kids on the move, and Kate wasn't too keen on talking about fitness.
She's like, I've got nothing to bring to this conversation.
She actually did wear she's got this beautiful PE Nation outfit on today though, so she's here in spirit.
Yeah,
I think.
she's vibing the exercise.
Looks so good on her. I'm like, mate. So we've got Caity here today. So before we get into the episode, shall we go through our ins and outs for the week, and then we can get into it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Caity, what are your ins
want to
and
start
outs?
with me? Okay, right. Okay, so my in for the week is random compliments from strangers.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, especially about someone's smile. You'll just be at the supermarket checking out, and they're like, "You've got a really nice smile." I'm like, "Oh, thank you." And,
My
makes your day. It does. Really makes your day. My out for the week, I think, is my grumpy cat.
Cats, every time.
Loves a cat. Renee's like, I'm such a cat.
She's been so sassy. No, she'll just randomly lash out at my dog, Navy. And there's no need or no reason, but she's just getting, more grumpier as she gets old. She's 10 years now, so. But I'm not sure how to, deal
Discipline
with
a cat?
Yeah.
How do you discipline a cat?
Well, if it were my kid,
Time out. Time out for the cat.
just lock the kid in the room. Animal cruelty, we won't do that. Those are good ins and outs.
They are.
What are yours, Renee?
I'm going to start with the out and be really needy today. We've got a full power outage in Oakura today in our little village. I've had to shut the salon. They gave us plenty of notice, so it was fine. But we've had a bit of a debacle this morning with full road rage. There's traffic backed up because they've got stop go signs. The car park in the local Foursquare is being cordoned off. And I'm getting phone calls because I'm also on the Kaitaki community board. So I'm getting phone calls going, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. I'll make a phone call. So it's been a bit hectic.
Yeah.
And I think too, in would be your community, your people, because as you've said, we've got sick kids. I probably have had sick kids for the last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And Kate's helping out today. Mum and Dad have been great, and you just can't function with sick kids if you're running a business and trying to exercise, trying to make that a priority so I'm not a complete crazy person. So our people are my in today.
I love
Cool.
that. Yeah.
That's a good one.
What about you, Gina?
So my in for the week is that it's sunny.
Yeah.
No,
I'm just stoked that it's sunny.
Makes everyone so much happier.
Oh, it's any opportunity to get out there in the sun, it's just, it just makes you feel magic, even if you only get 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's so good. My out for the week, this is actually an out from a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, but it's relevant because Caity's here today and it's so embarrassing and I don't want to talk about it, but I was like, this is a good chance to chat. So it must have been last week. So I was getting ready to come to Fitstop to drop my daughter off at preschool and come into town to go to Fitstop. And right before I left, my son Cohen had done this huge poo and I'd gone to change him and those ones and you just don't expect it, and it was huge. It was this, it just flopped out of the nappy, went on the floor. Yeah, it was just an absolute explosion. This is a real gross story and I'm so embarrassed to be telling it. But I carried on and I think a little bit of poo got on my tights, just a little spot, and I was like, I'll just clean it off because I don't have time to like fully get changed.
Get
So I
changed,
wiped it off. I used dishwashing liquid, which is a hot tip from Caity about getting rid of stains and stuff off your clothes. And I, anyway, like got on with it, got my daughter in the car, dropped her at preschool, went and picked my mum up because she came to Fitstop as well. And I said to mum, oh, you know, I kind of did this poo this morning, but I can still kind of smell it. And I wash my tights and I don't know like where it's coming from. And she goes, oh, well, she helped my sister on the farm in the morning. And she's like, oh, well, I helped Jules on the farm, so maybe it's just me. And I was like, oh, I don't think so. But yeah, anyway. So I got to Fitstop and I could still smell it. And I was like, oh my God, like what is that? And anyway, I like lifted up my shoe and, you know, like it was stuck in the grooves in my shoe.
Human.
And I was like, not even dog shit, like actual human shit. And I was like, fuck. And I'm such an oversharer that normally I would have been like, oh my God. And anyway, we were doing the warm up and I fully skipped and bailed out on the warm up. Sorry, Caity. Ran off to the bathroom. She's like, get rid of it. Ran off to the bathroom and then like was like aggressively hot water and soaping my shoe to get it off. And then I thought it was all clear and I went to take a big smell and I was just like, anyway, I stayed there for like a good 5 minutes cleaning off my shoe. Everyone probably thought I was taking a shit myself. And came back out and I just like, it just threw me off. Like it completely put me off my whole session
because
I was like,
a bit self-conscious.
I was so self-conscious and I was like, oh
I didn't smell anything.
Oh,
It makes you feel
that's
better.
great. I probably kept running away from you when you came near me. So yeah, so that's my out.
That is
I was
an excellent out.
I had to share it because I was like, this is too good not
It
to.
is good.
But it's so disgusting. And anyway, I apologise if anyone was at Fitstop and they could smell shit because that was mine that I brought through. Anyway,
Good one,
yeah.
G.
It's out there now. So next up is outfits. What are you wearing today, Caity?
Well, I am wearing my white LSKG jumper
So nice.
and my fit jeans, my amazing jeans because I cannot buy normal jeans from the shop.
What are fit jeans? Like just stretchy?
Super stretchy jeans. They've got a couple of different ranges that they have. These are the 360, so they're a full waist stretch. So they stretch sideways and also lengthways as well. So, you know, big
talked to you
booties,
about
big
these.
thighs,
Yep.
little waist.
Yeah.
They fit perfectly everywhere. And if I bend down, squat down, they actually don't fall down my bum. Like a normal pair of jeans, if I
Yes.
would have bend over, it would be like
They stay there.
bum crack showing, you know?
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, they're
you've
cute.
Yeah.
you've talked about those before actually. They do look good.
Outfit.
What are you wearing?
I've actually got an old jumper on today, old basic jumper from a couple years ago, and 501s and Golden Goose sneakers today.
Nice. Very nice. Is it basic as in that Aussie BASSI? Is that brand?
Yeah, basic.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
My
that's it.
sister always calls it basic, and I'm like, I don't know if it's that.
I used to too.
Oh.
I was like, and no, Kate always corrects. She was like, it's just basic. Okay.
Just basic, not that complicated. Just like us. Oh, that's awesome. I actually got this shirt. It's an old H&M one that I got off the trading rack.
It's a real cool colour
it's
on
a
you.
cool
It looks
website.
good.
So I got that. Yeah, I got my 501s on, and yeah, that's me today.
Yeah, looking cute.
Thank you. So let's crack into it. So I'm
Yes,
going to do a
I'm
little bit of
excited.
an intro about Caity because I learned some stuff too. So Caity grew up as a dancer. You started doing ballet when you were 4 years old, right?
Yeah.
And started competing at 9. Caity was also a cheerleader from age 13 to 18. And your team competed in New Zealand and Australia. International, baby. So then your career as a personal trainer started in 2014.
Yeah.
You competed in bodybuilding shows in 2013, 2018 and 2019.
Yeah.
And currently you are a trainer at Fitstop New Plymouth, which is where we go because we love you so much. So yeah, that's from that intro, I suppose it appears that you've always had fitness kind of running through your blood.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about you. Tell us a bit about your life.
Okay.
And your cat if you want to. Renee.
Please
Is that
don't.
okay, Renee?
So I live with my partner Ethan. I have my dog Navy. So he's a border collie, very active, does not stop. You would say he has ADHD.
Yep.
Laps around the house,
terrifying.
laps on laps, just does not stop. You put him outside and he will happily lie down, take a nap. Moment he comes inside, it's just
Hectic.
On.
laps on.
Yeah. I can attest to that. I've thrown many a toy for Navy.
Yes. Fetch is his favourite. He will not stop. You'll try and sit on the couch and just take a moment for yourself and you'll end up with 6 toys on your lap just because he wants you to throw
them,
just
Mum.
one. He's like, just one, please. And I have my cat Holly. So she is 10 now. She's named Holly because I got her at Christmas time and I wanted to give her a Christmas themed name, but it wasn't,
Santa.
Prancer or Vixen, like a Rudolph, a reindeer. And so she got Holly.
Nice.
And she's followed me through my many houses that I've lived in. She's like my spirit animal and I love her to pieces. But she's getting a bit grumpy and I think it's because Navy is so active and she wants her peace and he doesn't let her have it. So
That's fair.
It's like kids. It's just like kids and personalities. Yeah.
So that's, and working as a trainer at Fitstop, I love it there. Fitstop is me through and through, functional movement. I'm a bit of a stickler for form and technique, so I love to coach that. And we get plenty of time to be able to do that in the Fitstop sessions, even though, it is group fitness. It's harder to do that as opposed to one-on-one PT. But I love it.
Yeah, cool. So you mentioned something to me because I was talking to Caity about now that I'm lifting, I'm getting like calluses on my fingers and on my hands, and I can't have calluses if I'm a beauty therapist. And then Caity was like, I used to be a beauty therapist. Yes. So when did that happen in this career?
Yeah, okay. So when I finished school end of year 12. I didn't do year 13. I wasn't.
Neither.
Yeah, okay.
You're among friends here. You're safe.
No, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So my parents were like, take a year off, work for the year, and then just have a think about it. Maybe you'll know what you want to do from there. So I was working at Countdown Supermarkets just as my part-time job while I was at school. So I picked up full-time work there for the year and I decided I wanted to do beauty therapy. And my cousin over in Australia, she was opening her own salon. She was due to open around November that year. So it would have been like August, October. I was like, yep, I'm going to come and work for you. I'm going to do my apprenticeship with you. And
cool.
So I moved to Australia and we were setting up the salon. So it was still doing things like painting, getting the furniture and doing the layout and
Renee's
things.
like, I love painting.
I think like when you're leading to something like that, you got to be the exciting part of it, like kind of making decisions and making it aesthetically pleasing to be this awesome salon. Like that's really awesome.
Kind of being part of the DNA of how it would look and feel.
Yeah. It was a lot for me to take in being new to the industry as well. But I enjoyed every aspect of it, but I missed home so much. I got really homesick and I stuck it out a few months, and I think just as it came closer to Christmas, like it just really hit me, and I'd been tears all the time, and I was just I was kind of at this point where I was like, no, I think I need to come home.
Yeah,
So
I get that.
I was
I'm a
18
home
years
bug.
old, so
Yeah, totally.
Just young,
Necky girl.
Yeah, through and
Come
through.
on home, girl.
So I came home and then enrolled for the beauty therapy course at WIT.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah, start the following year. So that was a 2-year course. Did that and finished up with the Cedesco diploma.
Yeah, it's a hard one to get, the international exam. Yeah.
Studied my ass off. And so then I went into work for a salon, and I had started gym training as well around about the time I started the course. So I'd been gym training for a couple of years and getting a little bit more into that side of things as well. Started my first prep for a bodybuilding show.
Oh, wow, that's incredible. And you were working full time.
And I was working full time.
Yeah, because beauty therapy is like quite tiring. Like you could get like finish at 7 o'clock and the last thing you feel like doing is a workout.
Yeah.
So that's incredible.
Yeah. So I would get up early. It was 2 gym sessions a day. So it was gym before work and then also gym after work. So.
Yeah.
And giving all your energy to some like other people all day, and beauty
Yes.
therapy is such a, and depending on whether you're introverted or extroverted, imagine that's quite like potentially quite recharging, but also quite exhausting. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that, and then I just fell in love with fitness, and the trainer that I had, so I was going to the YMCA back then, the trainer that I had during my training sessions, he would be talking to me more about the anatomy and physiology and the science that's actually going on within the muscles and how they are growing and how they repair and what happens with each training session, and then in the next 5 hours following, and what you need to eat to support that. And,
It's so interesting.
Oh, it is. And I was really intrigued by it. And then, it would have been the following year. I was like, okay, I'm going to start my personal training qualification and learn a bit more about this and get that under my belt. So I knocked off maybe about 6 hours of my beauty therapy job and took up 6 hours of gym reception work, because you had to be doing so many hours per week to gain the qualification. And
Was that online?
it was through Skills Active. So you had workbooks.
Yes.
It was before the online came in, like
Yes.
just before online came in, and I had an assessor in New Plymouth. So that was Fee at Rampage.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I know Fee. Yeah, she's lovely.
So she would mark all of my book work, sit down with me, do the verbal questions, and then she would also take me through my practical assessments as well.
She'd be the perfect person.
She
to
would.
do that
She's
guide,
so
be a good guide.
knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And then I slowly just made the transition to full-time PT. So I went out on my own, one-on-one, and I'd moved to Anytime Fitness to do that. So that was fairly new. Started a booty boot camp as well.
Cool.
So it was a 30-minute session just dedicated to all things booty and legs. It was a higher intensity session. And that grew pretty popular. So then I ended up having to do 2 sessions back to back to cater for numbers.
Awesome.
And then I took a little bit of a roundabout and went back to beauty therapy or pharmacy work. Just sort of, I've had a few jobs and things, like just things here and there in the pipelines. And then I always come back to fitness. It's just such a passion for me. And
Good.
Yeah.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
You know, like when we're like, that's the real love. I mean, I know lots of gyms are the same, but for Fitstop, if you've got a trainer like Caity, who's, you can see the passion about it, like I'm still learning techniques and stuff. And so when someone comes and corrects you and just knows and wants you to do it properly, you can feel that when you're coming as a client, customer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, it's amazing. Like I think as a person, like you're so warm and lovely and bubbly as it is, but and people who I've like brought along to Fitstop have said the same thing. They're just like, it's like when you can be, we could be chatting and then boom, as soon as like class time hits, like you just ignite. And it's just like, it's like almost like a singer like going on stage or something, like
it's a performance.
but it's amazing. Like, you know, when people have just found like their thing, like that they're so good at, and you see that, and like it's like coming into R&Co as well, and like Renee, like she's the person, and like when, you know, at a Fitstop class, it's like you're just the person, and it's so cool to see. Like you're just obviously really loving it and you're in your zone, and it's just really, it's really inspiring.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So then, like, obviously you want to do it because it's like your passion and you feel good and look good, and that's like a bonus. But in this industry, like who's your inspiration within your health and fitness industry? Like who would, if you could name 1 or 2 people, who would it be?
That's a great question.
Aside from me, of course. And Renee and Kate and her Petty Nation.
Most recent, biggest inspiration of mine would be Anthony Stephens from Fitstop Head Office Australia.
Oh, okay. Have to Google him after this.
We'll look him up.
He came over here for our opening in New Plymouth, and just his knowledge and his energy was just insane. And I'm like, I want to be like this guy. Like,
You are.
so he's my most recent inspiration. And then I guess going back from there, my biggest inspirations are athletes themselves, or mostly bodybuilders. I mean, there's so many, but to name a few would be Emily King Bodies, Asha Coulthard. These names might not be too familiar.
It's going to have crushes on everybody.
Just like I'll make my little Instagram list so I'm going to stalk later.
Abby Slavin, like their physiques are phenomenal, and the dedication and the effort that they put in every single day, and they look amazing year round. Like, you know, I have my ups and downs, but then I look up to them because here they are just getting through anything, you know, that determination and discipline too.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Because I feel it like when you go in there, like, and I've always said, like, exercising creates endorphins, and then people that create endorphins are generally all-round happier people, right? You go into that gym and everyone's like, hi, high five. You know, I'm like, this is my vibe. Yes, this is my place. You know, like everyone's happy. Like if I can't, I remember one of my first classes, I was trying to do a pull-up, which I cannot do. So then I needed an assisted one with the stretchy band. But I couldn't fucking get the band around my foot. So I was like dangling there like a complete idiot. And this lady came up, she's like, are you okay? Do you want me to put that around your foot? I was like, yes, please. So everyone's there for the same reason. Everyone's there to help. And what you feel like about, I guess, that guy from Australia from Fitstop, you know, like this is his life and his livelihood is to exercise and make people feel good. And I just feel like that automatically makes you happy.
Yes.
You know, because it's a feel good.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And what is it? Endorphins make you happy. Happy people just don't kill their husbands. That's a line I'm like, anyway, Legally Blonde. And so I suppose it's been a really, pretty much your whole life has really been kind of, in some form of fitness or art in terms of dance and movement. So
my parents, sorry.
Oh, no, you carry on. Yeah.
So my parents tell me, I don't remember this, but my parents tell me that when I was 4, so my sister, she's a year and a half older than me, she was going to ballet classes. And when I was 4, I was begging mum and dad, please let me go, please let me join the class. And they're like, no, you can't join until you're 5. And that was the school's rules. And so I would just get up on the sideline, like from where the parents watch, and I would do the whole class next to the girls.
For free.
So eventually the teacher gave in and she let me join at a younger age. So,
cool. Yeah. Good on you.
That tells a story though, right?
Definitely.
Katie wants something.
Yeah, she's going to work hard.
Yeah.
Off the back of that, so where do you kind of find your motivation? Like do you ever fall off the bandwagon like the rest of us?
That you do.
I do.
Yeah. How do you kind of get out of bed every day and decide, or where do you find your motivation?
So I find my motivation from within myself, making myself better than what I was a week ago, 3 months ago, a year ago, whatever it might be. Just to challenge myself, push myself a bit harder, like especially in the gym now. You know, I get a bit of a kick out of like, I just nailed that 2 kgs heavier. Like,
totally.
Yeah, just increasing the weights or better form, deeper squats and things like that. There's always some way to try and progress myself.
Yeah.
And a motivation I get from actually all of you guys, our members and things, like watching you guys train hard and push yourselves to the limits. Yeah. That motivates me too.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that because you feel the same like that. Like I vibe off my clients, you know, and they don't know they're doing it because it's vice versa. Like we just think that you're doing it for us, but that's cool to hear it's the other way as well.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's reciprocated. I think it's it's so cool that you feel that way about everyone. And I think like you said, how you said you get really stoked if, you know, you're adding 2 kilos on, because we talk about how people are never almost allowed to celebrate something that they're doing, you know, like we're always like, oh, nah, I don't, like, you don't want to take a compliment or you don't give yourself that pat on the back. And I reckon that's really cool to be like, I did do that.
Celebrate it.
Yeah, celebrate it.
And it will help, like, you know, move forward.
Yeah, that pushes you to get the next one. And
and it's self-talk. Like it's really awesome, positive self-talk, you know?
Totally. So what was it like training for and entering? Like, let's dive into the bodybuilding competitions. I'm really interested in it. Yeah.
So the first one I ever did back in 2013, I did NABAR shape category.
So what made you decide I want to do this?
Oh, okay. I think in the last few years, a lot of people had said to me like, oh, you'd make a great power lifter, you'd make a great bodybuilder, you'd make a great, all these sorts of things. And I'd never really thought twice about it. I'm like, oh, I'm happy doing my thing. And then I think as I started getting more serious into my gym training, I was about, a couple of years into it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to show everyone that I can do this. Yeah. And I allowed myself only 3 months to prepare for. I know. Not long. Yeah, no, not the greatest idea ever. But first one, we have to learn. So my coach, he was like, right, bench press, dumbbells, you're not lifting anything lighter than 10 kg dumbbells. Like shoulder press, you're not lifting anything lighter than 10 kg dumbbells. And squats, you're not going anything lighter than 40 kgs, like including the bar, so 10s each side, And I was like, holy, oh no, this is heavy. Like, I don't think I could do this. And he was like, come on, you want this? You got to get it. Like, do it. And so he pushed me to it. And then in that 3 months, we just sort of tried to figure out nutrition. Like I was tracking, but we didn't really know what I needed to be hitting to lose enough body fat. So we sort of, devised a plan, stuck with it. I did slowly lose weight. So the category shape, you don't need to be ridiculously lean, like shape. You still want like some body fat on you. You don't need to have striations or muscle separation showing, anything like that. Yeah. In that 3 months, I didn't quite achieve the level of leanness that I did need, but I still got up there. And
good for you.
Did it.
Were you really nervous?
I was so nervous, but I was pretty proud of what I had achieved even in just that 3 months. Yeah. And I knew I wasn't going to win it, but I still got up there with some confidence. I just love being on the stage. As soon as I'm on stage, I forget about my fears and nerves, and I just plaster the smile on my face. And I think that comes from ballet. Like no matter what's going on in your mind, you just you have to hold the smile
it till you make it.
Exactly.
Sometimes I'm like, how are you this morning? And you're like, I'm good. I'm like, yeah.
It's quite like mum life, right? When people are like, how are you? Like, I've had the best morning ever.
Secretly shaking your head. But
yeah, for sure.
That's amazing.
And we had a routine that we had to do so you chose your music, you made your own routine. So that was pretty cool. I got to let my dance flair shine a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, did that help?
It did. Yeah, it definitely did. And so no, it was really cool. I got 3rd place out of 3 girls, so it was
that's all right.
You never have to say that last bit. You just have to say I got 3rd.
I'm sure you would have got 3rd out of 10 as well.
Yeah,
like
totally.
you're good. Yeah.
So that lit the spark, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna hit nationals at the end of the year. But unfortunately, my partner at the time, he hated it. He hated that I was, building muscle, getting lean, and just
hot. That's a wrong partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red flag.
Well, should have done that. However, to keep the peace in the relationship, I gave it up. But then, so we broke up a couple of years after that anyhow. And I, started right back where I left off, getting back into my fitness. And then, went for my next bodybuilding show in 2018. So this one I was a lot more prepared for. Started out with a coach. It would have been well in 8 months prior to the show.
Wow.
So that she got decent off-season time. With me before we started a cut. And so then we actually started the cut. It would have been 20 or 16 weeks out from the show.
And so explain what a cut is.
Yeah, so the cut is, or your on season is the period of weeks before show day. So you pick the show that you want to do, you count your weeks backwards, and it depends on what sort of position you're in physically, whether you need a longer cut or you could get away with a shorter cut. Like for some girls, 12 weeks, 8 weeks is probably enough. So we started earlier. So I was going into IFBB this time in the bikini division. We sort of knew that I would be borderline on the more muscular side for that category, so we didn't train quads at all, just left quads
didn't need
completely.
to.
No.
Girl.
I love So it was actually a really good experience. So calories just slowly dropped over those 16 to 20 weeks.
Yeah.
And cardio slowly crept up. So started off with, obviously my weight training was still 5 to 6 days a week. And then cardio, we first added in high intensity interval training. So just a 20-minute session of like 20 on, 10 off. And it could be, exercises like squat jumps or, even anything that's more like power based.
Yeah.
Or I had an option of doing treadmill sprints. So again, 30 on, 30 off for the treadmill sprints, like as fast as you can, maybe.
Did you ever fall off?
I actually have a really great story about
We'll come back to that story. Carry on.
Not whilst running though.
Can we put it up?
Yeah. Please do.
Cut you down, You're like flying high. And I'm like, what about that time?
Oh, so embarrassing. Anyhow. And then as we get closer in, and as my energy level started to drop, so about the 6 week out mark, my calories are really diving down now. And
So does that mean you're really hungry?
Hungry most of the time.
Angry.
And you start to obsess about food. You're like, how long until my next meal? I was like, okay, 2 hours, and you look again, right?
Yeah.
30 minutes until I can eat, and then
Wow. That's just, you just need so much discipline. Like that, I have so much respect for that.
Same.
and like
neither.
the nutrition side of things definitely very hard, very, very hard. But as you get in towards the later stages of prep, the everyday tasks are what are the hardest. But we'll come back to that. So cardio changed. So I started doing just a 45-minute walk incline instead. So incline on about a 6%, and a fast-paced walk, 45 minutes. And then over the 6 weeks, that would gradually increase, and then we doubled. So I would be doing that same session in the morning and in the evening straight after weight training. So yeah, you're at the gym for an hour in the morning and then 2 hours at night. And
Wow.
Just shows the level of commitment and discipline that you have to have on.
it is quite a selfish sport.
Yeah. Like surfing's a selfish. Sam doesn't surf, but I'm like stoked. I'll surf is even like. Wow, and so then that led you into the purpose of that, right, is so prior to that you're really focusing on building the muscle.
The muscle
and then
mass.
you're kind of exposing the muscle.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Stripping off the layers to show what you've built during that off season.
So much technique to that. Like it's so technical.
Yeah.
You have to really have the knowledge behind it, like a coach, or even like the knowledge of the body and how it works. Otherwise you've just got no shit show, right?
Yeah.
Like there's just so much science behind it.
Yeah, and there's no way that I could prep myself for a bodybuilding show because I'd probably be second guessing every move I make for myself, or
Sometimes you need
should I
someone
be doing that? Or maybe I need to drop them a bit more, and I'd probably just
overanalyze
screw
it
myself
too
up.
much. Yeah, because it means so much.
Apart from like winning or getting a place and feeling really awesome, like can people make a living out of this? Like, do you win thousands of dollars or not really?
I think it depends on the show.
It's like I want to do it, but I want to be paid if I'm not going to eat. I want to look good, but I want to get paid. I don't.
Okay, so it depends if like you're professional at it or you're doing it for fun. Does it vary?
It can vary. So depending on the federation you're competing with and which country you're competing in, and then also the degree of the show, whether it's a world show or whether it's a national show. So at pro level, so amateur level, you don't win money in shows. But once you gain a pro card, you can compete at pro level with all the other pros. And generally it's at those shows where they will have cash prizes. Depending on where you place, it could be like in the hundreds or it could be in the thousands. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
And then I guess coming from there, like, protein labels might be like, hey, do you want to
Yes.
sponsor it? Well, like that kind of stuff can lead into,
100%. And then that
monetizing
leads
it.
you into, Instagram influencer and
Yes.
things like getting paid to be online and things like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so how'd you go at the 2018 show?
So I got in one. So I did both. So it was bikini. I did both the open and also the novice. Second place in the novice, and then I got 5th place in the open.
Wow.
category.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That's amazing.
And so then from there, the following year, I went to WBFF over in Australia.
Cool.
And that was like the big one for me. So WBFF is World of Beauty Fashion and Fitness, or Fitness and Fashion. I can't remember which way around it is.
Yeah.
However, the bikinis are much more like couture, like more glitzy glamour.
Very GC.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And when you're on stage posing, you pick your pose, you move however you like, more like a model as opposed to having strict specific poses that you need to stand in with those ones. So I was, really excited for that show. I went into the fitness category and I did that for the level of muscle mass that I had because I knew that I just wasn't going to be a bikini girl.
I'm too muscly. I'm too strong for this. Yeah, it's cool.
So back in came the quad training, which was great. It led into that show. I did again another 20-week cut just to get as lean as I could because I needed to have more of that muscle separation for this category. Went over to the Gold Coast with my parents. They came with me.
Cool.
Really, really cool. If you ask Dad, he'd say that I was a stroppy.
Hungry.
I was hungry,
Hungry.
I was so hungry. And I think just the travel threw me off.
No, I can't eat this meal that you've given me. Like, I need more protein.
Can't eat till I land in Australia. Don't talk to me.
Mum ordered me a meal on the plane and I'm like, Dad, you can have this. But it was fine. And that was the coolest experience of my, competing history. So backstage was amazing. They had the pro girls, they were all running around making sure everyone was well looked after and everything was good. Everything ran really smoothly on stage and we actually got to go onto the stage for a practice catwalk in the morning before the show started. So we knew exactly where we needed to go. There was no confusion once we got out there. I was so nervous stepping out onto that stage because I've got the massive backdrop, so just with all the lights and the big TV screens and this was in it used to be called Jupiter's. What's it called now over in the Gold Coast?
I don't know.
Star Casino.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was in the massive theatre there. And I just remember stepping out and again just forgot about all of the nerves and the worries and just smile past it.
I'm not hungry.
You forget about all of that and you're so in the moment and it goes so fast.
Yeah.
It's like you're on and then you're off. But you were on there for 10, 15 minutes but it feels so quick. And I remember we were up there and they had 10 of us and they kept turning us around because they couldn't pick, they were struggling to pick where they wanted to place the girls. And one of my calves, my right calf was on the borderline of cramping up and I'm like, oh my God, no, don't. You can't just take a stretch on stage.
No, hold a minute.
You're in these heels and you can't.
Yeah, I would drop
so
to the ground.
So just try the weight shift, different pose and you've got to not let it show in your face and just keep that smile and coolest experience ever. And then I came out with second place from that show out of 18 girls. Yeah.
That is incredible.
Hell yeah. I was stoked. I was so happy.
All that hard work. And you do kind of get the bug, being out there, how you say you forget everything. You're all these endorphins racing through your body. You're I want to do this again.
And that's why I do it. It's the journey is definitely hard. It's challenging and I love that for me, but also it's just being on stage. The end result on stage is what I live for.
And then taking out second place. That's amazing. But most important question, what did you eat straight after?
It was really late at night. It would have been almost 11 p.m. And one of my favourite restaurants there, Wild Moose, I think it's called. Yeah, in Broadbeach. So we went there, burger, fries. I didn't have an alcoholic drink just because I wasn't sure what that might do to me. But burger and fries. And then of course I had my cookie dough pies and ice cream and everything waiting for me back at the apartment we were staying in.
Yum.
So
will you go again?
I'll never say never. I haven't got any set plans right now as to when I might compete, but
But at the moment, Caity loves a burger from Serial Griller.
Oh, yes. Yes, Serial Griller. The weekly go-to. I love it.
I'm just thinking about a 20-week cut and not having that.
Not having that.
Yeah.
So back to kind of like training as your job, what is like the most common struggle you would see within your clients? Specifically women, if we could kind of go that way, because that's kind of, like our listeners.
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel self-confidence would be one thing, and feeling confident in either A, what they're wearing, and B, moving well. And I mean, I struggle from this one too myself, like as women, we have cellulite. And
No, I don't.
Not under these jeans.
If you don't look. That's good. Cool.
But I feel like, not wearing shorts because you're conscious of it, or but then we just need to remember that it's everyone.
Yes.
And wear the damn shorts.
Yeah, be proud of being a woman.
See, I'm like that too. I won't necessarily wear gym shorts. I've always been a tights gal, and like sometimes I'm like, maybe one day I will.
Shorts are cool. Like, I don't wear shorts because I run and I just you get chafing and they like grow up. So it needs to be like spandex.
Yeah. We need some good brand recommendations that actually stay in place. Because I feel like when you have legs that are like, I have always had like bigger legs, and I think, if there was actually, I just find that they ride up. Like they just move.
With that too. Yeah. Everything wants to ride to the smallest point, right? And when your legs are nice and curved, they just want to shrink up.
Pop up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good
That's
advice.
a good one. And then what, I guess it kind of is a kind of holistic thing off the back of all your experience as well in your training. So what are some really good nutrition tips for people, not necessarily, to lose weight, but more to be healthy or support good training, and what would be your key tips?
Well, maybe also time poor.
Yeah.
Maybe I just think like something that doesn't have to be prepared all day.
Easy meals. Yeah. Okay. So my number one tip would be just to make sure that you're eating balanced meals. So you're having your protein, your carbohydrate, and some fats with every meal that you're eating. Especially when you are training at the gym, your body needs all of those things. And especially try not to cut down on carbs. And I know a lot of us might think that carbs are the enemy, or the carbs are what make us gain weight.
That's what we've been taught in our head for so many years, right?
But carbohydrates are our main source of energy in our muscles. So when we're lifting weights, we're using our carbohydrates.
Yeah.
So it's really important to restore that straight after a session, or even get a little bit in before a session if we're not training fasted first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
For time poor, you could, like when you're cooking dinner, just make some extra meat, keep that in the fridge, so that'll be quick and easy protein option. Otherwise, if you like tuna, canned tuna is great.
Yeah.
Also, I find when I'm time poor, I'll just pick up a few of those microwave rice. Microwave rice. Yeah. And I'll just chuck that in a bowl with some avocado and some like beef mince or some chicken, shredded chicken. And also I really, really like the beta bites, the little mini carrots.
Oh yeah, I give those to the kids.
Yeah, they're great. Like just a
what are they, little like carrot stick?
Like
the little
carrots.
Oh yeah.
Those little baby carrots. Yeah, but they're so crunchy and juicy. Like you just
Yeah, they are yum.
Yeah. So obviously it's important to get our vegetables in as well. So they're great for a snack during the day. So then you're not just eating veggie at night. Yeah.
Those are good
Cool.
tips.
They are good tips. Shall we go into questions?
Yeah, there's actually a good question
that,
from Jane. Yeah, straight off the back of that chat about balancing your plate. So she so this is from one of our listeners. Are macros important when trying to lose a bit of extra weight? And if so, how do you work them out?
Yeah, I feel like macros definitely are important. And while it's not for everyone to be tracking your food all the time.
So what's macros when you're like measuring?
Yep. Stuff. Okay. So macros are your carbohydrates, your protein, and your fats.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yep.
So your macros make up your calories. So carbohydrates, 1 gram is worth 4 calories.
Yeah.
protein, 1 gram is worth 4 calories. And then fats, 1 gram is worth 9 calories.
Yeah.
And also there's alcohol in there too. So alcohol, 1 gram is 7 calories.
Okay.
What if it's with soda water?
Cancels it out. Hydration. Fine.
Not as hungover because
That's
I'm
fine.
hydrated.
Coffee, alcohol, fine. Just drink water with it. That's fine. We learned that one.
Got to have a balance, right?
Katie's like, I didn't see that.
So to work it out, basically the easiest way is to find a TDEE calculator online. So that's your total daily energy expenditure.
Yep.
So that will use your height and your weight, your activity levels throughout the day, and that will give you back a calorie figure that what you should be eating each day. Now that'll vary from person to person because we don't know A, your muscle mass, and B, your body fat percentage. So it can vary. And then from that, it will give you how much you should eat to gain weight or how much you should eat to lose weight. So it's a good ballpark figure to start with. And then when you're trying to lose weight, you still want to keep your protein where it should be. So at the higher level.
Yep.
So for most of us, this could be between, say, 1.5 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight.
Yep.
It's sort of like a good, so set your protein first. That's not going anywhere. We're never going to reduce our protein intake because we need that to maintain what we've got, especially if we're going into a deficit.
Yeah.
And then the rest will be made up of your carbohydrates and fats. And then depending on what your body prefers as its energy source, like your carbohydrates will always be a little bit higher than your fat. Or you could look at as your total calories and break it down. So let's say 40% is going to be carbohydrate, 30% protein, and then 30% fats.
Right.
And work it out that way.
Cool.
So
I would think in my head that you would just like cut the fats. But obviously that's not a thing.
Need the fats, girl.
I know, I get
Load
it,
up
but
on
like,
those
you know,
fats.
like
lots of
the
things,
ice
eye
cream
health,
and
brain
chocolate
health, you know.
And I think that goes back to, and like you said before, you've got to have carbs, and you're like, yeah, but we've kind of been taught like carbs are bad. But we also went through this period where they were like, fats are bad, like sugar free, you know, like fat. It was like 99% fat free, and it was just full of sugar. And it was like, there's so much crap out there.
Free foods is it's got added sugar to make it taste better.
Yeah,
it's
The fat
really
removed,
poor.
But those good
marketing.
fats, like I don't know if like we should say good and bad, but like it's like that avocado and like the fatty fishes, butter. Butter's good, right? I eat a lot of butter. Butter doesn't help me up.
But this is the
helps.
beauty of tracking. If you track your food, like use MyFitnessPal or Easy Diet Diary, which is a New Zealand version.
Yep.
You'd only need to track for, let's say, a month or so to get a feel for things. And then once you can eyeball what you're eating, you know roughly what to eat, then you should be, and then just check in with yourself every couple of months, like track your day and be like, oof, like maybe I'm a bit over and probably need to rein it back, or you know, maybe you're spot on and just keep doing what you're doing. But I think
so those apps are good ones.
Really good for you to
guidance
learn
if your brain doesn't
what
work
you're
that
eating.
way.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of us can be quite surprised with how much hidden calories we might be eating in our sauces or extra snacks. You know,
why'd you look at me when you said sauce?
Like next minute you've eaten a few extra corn chips, or you've eaten
It's a real habit, especially of mine and maybe some other mums, especially like from school pickup till after dinner, how much I put in my mouth without thinking about it. Like I'm cooking, we had nachos the other night. I probably had like 5 chips before I even plated up.
Yes.
You know, so that kind of stuff you just subconsciously, unconsciously, non-consciously, whatever the word is
or
on
even
that.
just eating the kids' leftovers. You know, the small little things off their plate, and
You'd be surprised how much
Get a
food
dog.
you actually put in. Give it to the dog. So we've got another question. This is from Gabrielle. Tips for getting back into exercising after 4 years of doing nothing post having a baby.
So always start with the basics first. So obviously make sure that you do have good pelvic floor control.
I'm so glad you said that, because I
Same.
feel like there's a lot of people who don't,
It's
talk about how important that is post babies.
super important for our mums to, even if you want to go to a woman's health physio and just, get everything checked and make sure that everything's engaging as it should.
It's worth it too. It's worth investing in that for your health.
Totally.
Nail the basics, body weight movements, really light weights. So if you go in and hit a session too hard, you'll be sore for a week and then you're not going to be able to do anything. It'll just be,
But stop when I started.
What you love.
Yeah.
It's harder to make traction that way. So start with the basics, master those, then add some lighter weights, and then increase from there. You can add high intensity exercise, but probably keep it at a lower rep range while your body gets used to it.
Yeah.
I think too, mentally, this is just from me, I'm no pro, but don't expect to exercise how you did before you had kids.
100%.
Because I was always so hard on myself. Like I would go to the gym for an hour. I'm like, I can't even fit in like 35 minutes. And I felt bad about that.
Yeah.
But doing something is better than doing nothing.
Yeah.
So don't compare how you used to exercise when you had all the time in the world to do so, you know.
And you'll make it work with your schedule.
Yeah, and
however
10
that
minutes
might
isn't a
be.
waste.
Yes. Yeah.
10 minutes is an investment if it's all you got, right?
Yeah. And it will make you feel good for doing so. Yeah.
Definitely. Good answers.
Yeah.
And then we've got one from Kelsey. I know Kelsey. She's awesome. How to timetable fitness in with a baby or toddler. Best time of day to exercise. That's a good question. And the best exercises to do. I guess you've kind of touched on the exercises to do. But what are your thoughts?
Okay, how to timetable fitness in. So this is going to be personally dependent on your baby and sleep times, things like that.
Yeah.
So schedule some time in where you know that it's going to work for you and Bubs, whether it be while they're napping and you're doing something at home, YouTube follow along on the floor even.
There's so many of those now. Yeah.
Or, if you want to invest a little bit, grab yourself a few adjustable dumbbells and then you can do, a lot more with those, like body weight movements as well as then adding the weights. And what else did she?
Was it the time of day? Because this is really important. Because it's so like I'm planning on going to Caity's Fitstop class at 4:15. I don't know if you track this, but quite often about lunchtime I'm like, so like I'm like I have to get it done in the morning. It is such a struggle and a real mind fuck for me. And depending how my day goes, how much energy is drained, if I can get there, obviously feels so much better if I go and do it.
Yeah.
But is it just dependent on the person?
It will be dependent on the person. If you are a morning person, you're most productive in the morning, schedule it for the morning. Whereas if you feel you're more of an afternoon person and that's when you're more productive, schedule your workout for then. Because your motivation will be at its highest, either depending which way you are.
Yeah.
And then you're more likely to make it happen, get it done.
Okay, cool. That helps.
Yeah, and I suppose it's I don't know if you find this as well, but sometimes I personally find if I exercise later in the day, it can affect my sleep a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, like wraps
but
you up.
Not everyone feels like that. Yeah, but I'll just be lying in bed and I'll be like,
I'm
I'm exhausted, but I'm awake. And then best exercises to do. I guess when you got a baby or toddler, they're the best exercise, right?
Totally.
Lifting them up, squatting, like doing whatever you have to do.
Yeah. So I feel like postpartum is definitely a niche, and there are PTs out there that specialize in specific exercises and things.
Yep.
But I guess just as a general rule, first 3 months, you're healing, you're nurturing baby, and all you really need to focus on is just reconnecting with yourself and get a bit of that pelvic floor focus going.
Kegels.
Yeah, that's really nice advice. Like I wish someone said, I was so in a rush to get back to my pre-baby body that like it will happen.
It'll take time.
And it takes time. I don't know, it's hard when you're kind of getting dressed every day and you're looking in the mirror and you feel like shit. But like just kind of focusing on, I have just had a baby or my third baby and just being kinder to yourself.
And the important thing to remember too is progress is never linear. So you'll never keep climbing that progress ladder. You'll have setbacks and things that'll hold you back for a bit. And
and that's
it's
okay.
It's an up and down, you know.
So I've got a question for me. So I've always been massive in cardio, done a couple half marathons, did a marathon, and my reasoning behind this is like goals and that's awesome, but was also weight maintenance. What's the reasoning, which I've heard a lot about, is like women into their late 30s, early 40s, is weight training is more important for them than over cardio. Yep. Can you just give us a real basic?
Yeah, for sure.
Good question.
Yeah,
thanks, mate.
Really good question. Bone density would be one of the major things. So obviously, as we age, we do get a little bit more susceptible to osteoporosis or arthritis or anything like that. And weight training will help keep your bones stronger.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, because it's supporting around the bone.
Yeah,
right?
100%. Yeah, and so the muscle as well, obviously stronger muscle tissue, you're then, more stronger in your day-to-day activities. So, think like functional movements is really important for us. Like when we're training in the gym, not to just use machines, but to do free weights and other things as well.
Yeah.
Push a sled.
Yes,
Things like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Because I'm kind of enjoying that aspect of it. Like I could probably... well, maybe not at the moment, but like just go and run 10K. It just honestly doesn't bother me, but I don't struggle with it. I know, and that's everyone.
Running.
Like last Saturday we had to run. It was 1.5K. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is the easy bit." But I'm enjoying the challenge of the weights, and I'm looking forward to seeing the progress.
Yeah,
I think rather than doing, I don't know, like knowing how to train for, I guess, your age, your stage in life and your body type.
Yeah.
Is really important.
I think you've talked before too, Renee, about how is it when you get to 30, you probably know the answer to it, when you get to 30, the collagen in your
35.
skin. 35. And I think it's very
stops
similar.
producing.
Muscle in your body, I think if you're not moving it, you're losing it, I think, from like 30. And I think we were talking the other day in one of our episodes about, Kate was like, at what point do you fall over or have a fall?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is like something that, and my mum started coming at Fitstop as well, because I'm really, and she's really like keen to look after her fitness, which she has always done. But I'm like, if you have this muscle, your chances of having a fall are less, but also like the ability to get back up and be okay and support, the bones and the things that otherwise will break. I just think it's so important.
Yeah, it is.
And that's what I think about exercise now. I'm not in my 70s or 80s having a fall yet, but if I can work now to build and continue to build and maintain, then I'm going to be able to get back up from my fall a lot easier.
Yeah.
One other question I actually wanted to touch on was, I think it's quite a common misconception that lifting weights, makes women really bulky, so they stick to cardio. What do you think about that?
It doesn't make you bulky. You're still feminine. You will always hold your feminine shape. I feel like, I lift some pretty heavy weights, and like a lot of the girls at our gym do.
Yeah.
Oh, and they're
They
like
certainly
skinny
don't look
tiny.
like me.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
We just don't have the testosterone, right? Like
It blows my mind when I see like a tinksy girl and she's like pressing some insane amount of weight. I was like, I want to do that.
like Rachel and Kim
incredibly.
and Laura.
Amazing.
Holy,
And they look incredible. I feel like having some muscle is definitely very sexy.
Yeah,
on a
I
woman.
agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Cool. So then how do people get in touch with you or follow you, like, ask advice? Is that something that you kind of give out?
Yep. So I am on Instagram. I am at Caity_Williamson.
Yeah.
So super easy to find. And flick me a message, and I'm always checking my request folders and things like that. So get back to you as soon as I can.
Cool.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, book in to Fitstop New Plymouth, right? And take on to
come and
Katie's
work out with us.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool. Thank you for being here,
No,
Katie.
thank you for having me.
Thank you. Yeah.
Good
We
day.
miss Kate, but
I know.
she's here in
Not as
spirit.
many lols with Kate. She would have definitely
Awesome. Thanks, Katie.
Cool. High five.
Look,
Thanks, mate.
I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop. I don't wanna speak.